Morning, grade 6. So, Teacher Rex here once again. And we're going to tackle another lesson for fourth quarter, for our first lesson for this fourth quarter. So, lapit na kita sa aton end of our school year, no? So, I hope nga excited ka mo for our lesson for today. Okay? Let us start. So, our Bible verse for the week was taken from the book of Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7, which says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." So, ang ini nga verse nagapakita sang authority sa Ginoo sa aton. Okay, so if we follow him or be obedient sa iya, we will gain knowledge and especially wisdom gid. Ang most important. But ang isa ka sugo sang Ginoo sa aton nga kinahanglan ta man patihon is obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right, okay? Kag ang nami gid ni nga lesson is this teaches us to be obedient sa ila kag kinanglan nga sundon tag na kay nag-develop ini sa aton nga attitude, nga obeying nga attitude bala, because mas nauna ni sila sa aton kag sila ang nakabalo sang kag palangga kamo nila o kung kita nila, okay? Amo ginang tandaan ta. So as a sort of review for our science lesson, so what do you think do these animals have in common? They have backbone. So ano ni nga animals ang may mga backbone? They are called the vertebrates. Okay, so amo na sang klase ta sang nagligad nga week. So today we are going to study ang animals without backbones or invertebrates. Sila iniya ang animals nga mga wala backbone. So ato yung nagligad may mga backbone. Tawag sa ila gani ano? Vertebrates. So I hope nga nagatuon ka mo. Hindi kay puros lang tuon sa tumok cellphone, okay? Next, what are invertebrates? So invertebrates are animals that have no backbone. Although many are small and therefore difficult to see, they are immensely varied and are everywhere, making up about 97% of known species in the world. So perti kadamo sang invertebrates sa kalibutan. So we have 6 classification of invertebrates. First is Poriferans, next is Cnidarians, mollusks, echinoderms, worms, and arthropods. Okay, so one by one we will discuss what animals nga nagabilong sa sini nga classification. First is the Porifera or Poriferans. The term Porifera means pore bearer. These bodies, these animals have bodies full of pores or opening. Sponges are poriferans. They are considered to be the simplest form of animals, and they are said to be plant-like because they are attached to the ground and cannot be moved around. So, if makita kita nga do ka strange looking plant sa talom sang baybay, if magsalom kita kung mag-snorkeling kita, so we'll know nga nagabilong isa sa porifera nga class. Okay? So they have pores. Amo ginang mas tandaan nyo ko because they are pore bearers. So these are the examples of porifera, class porifera. So Seifa, Hyalonema, so kabudlay sa ilang i-pronounce, no? Spongella, so sounds like SpongeBob. Okay, so SpongeBob porifera man ini. Okay, next. Cnidarians or Nidarians. I don't know how to pronounce it, but a Cnidarian is a soft-bodied animals with stinging cells. Cnidarians are the simplest animals to have body symmetry and specialized tissues. So Cnidarians or Cnidarians are hollow-bodied animals, and these animals are characterized by their stinging cells. Their bodies are made up of 2 layers of cells that are separated by a layer of jelly-like matter. So they have one body opening that is surrounded by stinging cells, and the other opening serves as a passageway for food and protection. So may duwa sila ka-opening. Ang isa para sa stinging cells and ang isa para sa passageway sang pagkaon. So ang common gid natandaan ko sa nging klase namon sa una is ang Portuguese man of war nga perti inis ako no ang salabay sa aton pa salabay. Perti ka sakit-sakit nga pwede ka mapatay kung malabyan ka sang iya nga stinging cells na o kung mga tentacles yan na. None. Those are the examples of Cnidarians or Cnidarians. Next, mollusks. So, perti ka familiar sa aton. So, nagakaon mo ka mo inibala, sinibala. So, mollusks are soft-bodied animals. So, most of their soft bodies are covered with hard shells, and these are classified into smaller groups according to the shells they have. Some mollusks have a two-part shell or bivalves, and the opening and closing of the shells are controlled by their muscles. So, for example, sang bivalves is ang mga green shell, okay? So, mga talaba, ang tuhay, damo pa di sa aton. Okay? So, ginakaon ta na. So some mollusks have one piece of shell like snails and slugs. Others have covering shells like the squids, octopuses, and cuttlefishes, and they release a black liquid in the water to protect themselves. Take note, may isa ka one piece shell lang para sa snail, mga batad, damo pagid, mga slugs. So mga one piece shell lang sila ya. And others have covering shells like the squids. Di ba may shell man ang mga squid, ang octopus, and ang cuttlefish? So kung nagakaon ka mo sina, mga locust na, so naga-squirt ina sila sa black liquid nga para ma-escape nila ang predator nila. Okay? So echinoderms or echinoderms are spiny-skinned animals, and they have tube-like structures called tube feet that project from their bodies. These tube feet are used for moving, breathing, sensing, and feeding. And the outer tip of each tube has a sucker. For great example, it is a starfish. Next, worms. Worms have soft tube-like bodies, and they are divided into three groups: flatworms, roundworms, and segmented worms. So pasintabi lang, excuse lang sa mga nagapamahaw, nagakaon pa dira. So worms, we'll talk about worms. So flatworms, they have bodies that are flat and ribbon-like. Most of them are parasites. For example, flatworms includes flukes, planaria, and tapeworm. Okay, so mga sa aton pa kung ano pa, bitok. Okay? Roundworms, amo ni bitok man isa. So they have smooth, round, and thin bodies. Some of them are parasites. So excuse lang ulit, pasintabi lang ulit sa nagapamahaw, nagakaon. So it can enter the host body through a tiny opening of their skin and feet. So pwede ka dedikado sini. Kaya pwede sa makakontaminate sa aton nga lawas. Pag isang aton yung mga pilas, kung may pilas kita sa tiil, hindi gid mag-ubog sa mga higko nga, mga tubig. Okay? So another one is ang segmented worms. So segmented worms have segmented bodies, o kung nagautod-utod na isang mga bodies ang lawas ya. So examples of these are earthworms and leeches. So earthworms ya, sila ini ang decomposers, o kung make sang soil ta fertile, and leeches are parasites, blood sucker ini ang leeches. So ang earthworms naman isang common nga makita tagid magkutkot as ang healthy nga duta. Okay? Arthropods. So arthropods are animals which have jointed or legs or appendages, and they form the largest group of invertebrates, and their bodies are covered with an external skeleton that is called exoskeleton. So sagwa niyang ilang tulan, gina encase, o kung gina ara sa sulod ang ilang mga organs, o kung ara sagwa ang ilang bones. Okay, and they are divided into four groups: insects, arachnids, crustaceans, and myriapods. So hindi man sa literal nga bones, but skeleton lang nila. Okay, for example, sini is ang alimango gid, ang crabs. Ang crabs, ano pa gid, spiders, scorpions. So damo pa mga damang, sila na nabilong na sila sa arthropods, and they have jointed bodies or appendages, meaning nga sugpon-sugpon bala ang itsura ya, dugan sugpon-sugpon. Insects, they have three pairs of legs, a pair of antenna, and wings, and their bodies are divided into three segments: head, thorax, and abdomen. And they also have two kinds of eyes: simple and compound. And their simple eyes are used for seeing light and dark, while the compound eyes are used for detecting movement and sharp images. So insects ya, familiar na kamo sini, mga tibakla, mga butterflies, mga dragonflies. Okay? Arachnids. Arachnids have four pairs of legs, and their bodies are divided into two segments: cephalothorax, fused head and thorax, and meaning